I have with me today Carrielle Applewaithe and Sheldon Marshall of the Barbados Student Association in Jamaica. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me here today. Carrielle, just tell me a little bit about yourself, what you're studying in Jamaica, and your position on the executive.
I'm a second-year statistics major with a minor in demography, and basically my role as recruitment is to locate all the Bajans as they come to Mona, get them involved, make sure they're okay, etc. So.
And Sheldon?
Okay. Hi. So as you said, my name is Sheldon Marshall. I am a graduate student here at Mona. I'm doing an SC in Renewable Energy Management, and I am the treasurer on the Barbados Student Association of Jamaica.
Okay, thank you so much, guys, for joining me here today. And I'm just coming to ask you, as Barbadian students still in Jamaica, Jamaica has extended their curfew. How are you guys coping at school?
Well, me personally is fine because really and truly there's nowhere to go, so hasn't really affected me. It probably would only affect me if places on campus with regards to food closed. However, they haven't, so I'm fine.
And Sheldon, how are you coping?
Yeah, for me, well, for me personally, on the hall I live on a studio apartment. It is a hall that has studios, so we don't have areas where we have community room for the most part. So apart from main board, I'm fine because I'm safe. But there's not much to do. That's all.
Okay, and classes at the University of West Indies here in Barbados have resumed since on Monday. Have you guys also started down in Jamaica, and how has the transition from face-to-face to online classes been?
No, we resume on Tuesday coming because of the Easter break, so we still have time on Tuesday.
And based on your membership, how many Barbadian students are still on campus in Jamaica, and how many would you have seen came back to Barbados in light of the COVID-19 pandemic? And what is the general feel of students on campus?
Well, we sent out a Google form to the persons in the group. We had, I think, about 40 persons who said they remained in Jamaica currently. Nobody has indicated from that list that they have left as yet. Well, can't go anywhere because, no planes. But I could say from the list I could say about 50 persons went home. However, we know there's more than that. But from the list, we have about 50 persons returned home.
And what would they have left fearful, or would they have left just to be back home as it relates to writing out this pandemic? So what were the moods when they left, and have they been in contact with you guys in Jamaica to see what's going on?
Well, the general consensus of those who left was, I'd rather catch it at home than catch it in Jamaica. So I guess they left, I would say, in fear but safety at the same time. So yeah. And the persons who have been home, well, they actively talk in the group at times, I guess, when there's something to talk about. So we know they're okay.
So they'd rather be home, but in some cases, some parents actually sent for the persons because they wanted that their children were home. So it wasn't, in some cases, the children didn't necessarily want to go home. The students didn't want to go home, but the parents wanted their kids home with them. So that happens. So some did go home because they wanted to, but others their parents sent for them.
And Carrielle, what has the association, the BAS Jamaica, been doing to keep the Barbadian students who are there active or are checking in to make sure that they're okay?
Well, from the Google form, I personally messaged them saying as it falls under my portfolio. So I personally messaged to make sure they're okay. Told them, well, if they needed anything, they could reach out. Nobody has really, I guess everyone is still okay. But currently, as an executive, the president and the other VP and I, along with the honorary council, we're supposed to make a supermarket trip to try to get some essential stuff in the event that Jamaica does. And then we're just stuck here with nothing. So that's a plan in the works.
A plan in the works. So generally, you would say then that you're okay, because there was some concern as to the word being stuck for Barbadian students in Jamaica. So generally, you're okay.
Yeah, we're okay. We're stuck because can't leave, but I would say we're comfortable. I haven't heard anybody complain, say, "Oh gosh, I want to go home." So, I mean, I want to go home, but it's not like a dying person. Oh gosh, yeah.
And you guys have seen the situation in Jamaica, and you've seen the reports in Barbados. How would you say the two compare in relation to response to the pandemic?
Well, for me personally, I would say that, well, here in Jamaica, I feel as though we kind of get more information with regards to what's happening. Because, for instance, say if I got corona, the bulletin, and they say, well, you know, I'm from Kingston, XYZ, and my mode of transmission, if they don't know, they will probably do an investigation. So it's not like here you wouldn't necessarily know who the person is, but they will give you a breakdown of this person went to XYZ, what's not. So you know, well, okay, I live in this area. Yeah. But I still feel as though home is handling it pretty well as well.
Okay. And Sheldon, what about you?
Since this whole thing started, for me personally, governments had a tough decision to make, because the reality is that nobody wants to shut their borders, because obviously that has other impacts, right? But the thing is that I believe that we didn't do enough early enough, because then what that causes is that we had to deal, right now we're in a position now that we're actually reacting to the situation, having been proactive beforehand, because I mean, the reality is that the only way that it spreads is contact. That's just the reality, and having a person come that has it, that spreads it. And if you can't or restrict that from the get-go, you're going to find yourself in a position where Barbados says, no, we're in 24-hour curfew. And I mean, that is not ideal at all, but it's something that we could have, as I said, I understand that the government had a tough decision to make, because the reality is that to shut, Barbados is a tourism country. We can't just decide to stop. I mean, if we do that, that's going to have an impact on persons regardless. So it was a tough decision to make. But I feel like this whole thing globally, that the countries needed to deal with it a bit more proactive, and try to have limited the restriction of the flow of persons from the, because even in Jamaica now, we have a curfew in Jamaica, but to be fair, the curfew doesn't make sense if during the day persons aren't doing what they're supposed to do. Because if you go inside and you say 8 o'clock, you have to stay for 8 o'clock from 8 o'clock. So yes, people don't interact between 8 and 6 in the morning, but that means that all during the day from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. persons are still doing what they want. So then how does that doesn't really stop anything per se. It just means that persons don't move at night. But it doesn't necessarily restrict persons. So persons need to understand that the curfew is only part of the measures that are put in place, but the other part is for persons to social distance and to make sure they do the precautions, that they have personal precautions themselves in order to keep themselves safe.
Interesting point, Sheldon. And Carrielle, I asked the question as it relates to the difference. Have you seen, like, what is university life like now? Or is there anybody walking about, or is everybody stuck to their dorm rooms or their halls, or what's campus life like now?
Well, I think all the halls are residents restricted visitors. So it's not to say, okay, I'm here, my friend's here, I can go visit my friend. No. Well, my hall personally, that is a no. For instance, my hall, when we leave, there's a book at the gates that you put your time in, your time out, and where you're going. And I don't particularly mind, because in the event that somebody down here catches it, then they know, okay, well, this person went to XYZ area. We could pinpoint these areas that this person went to. So I don't particularly mind it, but I think it's just very, very quiet. It's unusually quiet, because we're not accustomed to a quiet UE at all. There's always something. So the quiet is a bit deafening at this point.
And as we wrap up, how are you guys preparing to start the school semester? Continue the school semester next week. Have you been getting any correspondence from you as to how that will go? And are you confident that you'll be able to make it through the rest of the semester without incident?
Well, me personally, as a statistics major, I'm not sure how the online is going to work, because really and truly, doing maths with somebody just writing and saying, okay, not sure how that's going to go, but do I have a choice? Instead of that, get out of UE as quick as possible. Don't really have a choice, but I think so far they've been giving us updates as we ask for it, so it shouldn't be too bad.
Sheldon?
Well, for me personally, my program is a master's program, and it's a top program, and the class is actually very small because it's in physics department, so it's actually a very small class. So I have 4 or 5 people normally, and then it can go up as probably as large as 12 10 persons for some classes, right? What that means is that as it stands right now, before this thing started, some of our classes were on Zoom, but they weren't on Zoom. We had classes, but some persons, because they live in Portland, right? This is one guy who lives in Portland. So what happens is that it is a 3-hour journey for him to come from work in Portland to come to class on evenings and then go back. So sometimes if it is that he can't make it, we would have Zoom, and he would call in on Zoom and he would take part in class. So I mean, we have been doing it before. So, and because the classes are so small, it's fine. My concern is the larger classes. So like classes over some of the faculties like social sciences, those classes are huge. Those classes have 100 persons in a class. Now that is where things are going to get tricky. And so that's my concern for those, for the persons that have the smaller classes with the programs that aren't necessarily as popular. Those classes, I can see those classes being fine, because with an online platform, it is going to be fine to be able to, for a lecturer to manage, as well as for students to be able to navigate the platform. But with a larger class, I mean, granted that a larger class, for the most part, a larger class probably will be a class where the lecturer just speaks. And if that's the case, well then there's not necessarily a need for much interaction per se. So I can understand that is fine. But I mean, it makes sense, because probably maybe tutorials, when those bigger classes have tutorials, but then they will have smaller classes. So that can work. But just my concern is just the larger classes. And then here in Jamaica, especially because the internet issues, a lot of persons don't have necessarily a stable connection to the internet. So depending on where you are, it may cause problems for persons to be part of the classes. And as I said, even here on campus, sometimes here on campus, the internet fails us. I mean, we have this internet here we call monoconnect, right? But it's commonly referred to as mono disconnect, because it is there, but we don't always have a stable connection. So you may be connected now, but literally it drops, or the signal drops, and then what that means is that you know you're frozen. Because even in this Zoom call currently, this has stuck to me a few times. So I don't know if you have gotten everything I said, but it does it quite often. So I mean, I know UE has been doing everything that they can to make sure that things are put in place to facilitate the online teaching. But even the town hall that UE had put on just last week, they put on a town hall, and they had it here at UE, and some of the deans would have called in, because everybody wouldn't be able to fit in the room. So some persons called in via Zoom, and some of the persons themselves got dropped off. So, and they were home. So it's like, if the lecturers here or the deans are home and they're calling in on Zoom, and they can't even think. I mean, the principal had said, he joked and said that, that he had no problem having a town hall then, because he figured that if we were going to ask students to have classes online, we should be able to test it and know that it works. But they had some hiccups as well. So, and that is a best case scenario, because the students now, they're going to have a lot more issues, because as I said, a lot of persons don't have steady thing, but they're doing things here because the guild would have been working with getting digital and line and flow to do this zero rated for the educational sites. So UE sites are going to be zero rated. So they just have to put on a plan, they should be able to get it. But that is only in terms of getting access. But there's another thing about whether or not connection is going to be stable. So there's a lot of factors to consider, to be quite honest. But I think that they're doing all that they can in this current situation with what they have to make it work.